Let's have the flag salute. And I'm going to call up Giano, Everett, and Layla to help lead the salute.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next up are announcements. This meeting is being televised and recorded for the transcription of the minutes. At this time, speakers wishing to address the board this evening should turn in the completed speaker card to the board secretary. In addition, the board held a special meeting right before this meeting starting at 5 p.m. with the lead consultant from Leadership Associates to discuss the process, timeline, and provide input on the qualities and skills we value for our next superintendent. So, do I now go to the, sorry, I have some speaker. When do I do these? Oh, sorry. Okay. Number 3, report on action taken in closed session.
There was no action taken in closed session.
Okay, excellent. I'm still getting used to this, guys. Thanks for being patient. Number 4, approval of the agenda for February 3rd, 2026.
So moved.
Can I get a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, public comments. So, speakers wishing to address the board on items on the agenda may complete speakers cards and submit them to the board secretary. Speakers addressing specific items on the agenda will have the opportunity to address the board at the time of the agenda item in the meeting. If you are addressing the board on a non-agenda item, please be aware that provisions of the Brown Act prohibit the board from acting or discussing such matters at this meeting. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person per topic and 20 minutes per agenda item. So do we have anybody from the MEF, MEA, or CSEA first? Okay, then we can go on to our public comments here. First would be Naomi Funakashi.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hi, my name is Naomi Funahashi. I've been a member of the Lomita Park PTA since 2019 when my older son was in kindergarten. He is now a 6th grader at Taylor, and I also have another son who is in 2nd grade at Lomita Park. In the time that our family has been at Lomita, I have spent more hours than I can count advocating for the Lomita Park students and our amazing community. Most of you on the board know me because I've stood here before, and I've spoken up on behalf of Lomita over the years because it's really important to me and to our family. With Dr. Janine's departure, the next principal that comes in will be the 5th principal since our family has been at Lomita, and my older son is only in 6th grade. Lomita is the only Title I school in Millbrae, and we have been fighting an uphill battle to get to where the other elementary schools in Millbrae are with regards to academic achievement. Lomita Park faces challenges that need consistent, supported leadership. And with Dr. Janine, for the first time since we started at Lomita, we started seeing data that showed clear improvement in ELA and math, as well as an improvement in chronic absenteeism. So finally, it felt like as a PTA, we could start focusing on regular PTA things like school spirit, and dances, events, instead of feeling like we had to constantly speak up to ensure some semblance of equity for our students. So when I heard that Dr. Janine wasn't returning next year, I felt deflated. Here we go again, right? It feels demoralizing, and frankly, it's exhausting. You know, this is not why we sign up to be on the PTA. So I'm here again, asking that this school board and district office really truly commit to helping Lomita Park students achieve to the best of their abilities. We just really need to see a strong commitment, preferably in writing, that clearly demonstrates that Millbrae is really serious about helping Lomita Park thrive as a school and as a community. And I know that all of our hearts are in the right place. We just really need to see the policies move in that same direction.
Thank you. Next is Salvador Marino.
Hello? Hi. So I have, we started second grade. Now we got a sixth grader. The principal turnover in Title I schools is really hard. We came from a Title I, so we already felt that. It feels like it's an unending cycle, 24/7. You guys are doing, you're doing your best. It feels like it. I don't know where the disconnect is, that we're not in the same place, that, we need the consistency, right? Especially as a new arrival, especially when we have new kids here that, are learning and stuff. I was one of those kids, so I really, I feel for them. And I see, like, just the little bit of consistency, the way that they started liking or enjoying the principal, Dr. Janine. It was pretty cool. It's pretty nice to see that for the kids. So it's really hard to know that you guys really, I don't know what the issue is, what's going on with so many changes. I got a TK now, or he's a kinder, but he's gonna be, we're gonna be here for a long time. And it'd be really nice to have some consistency. I don't know if there's anything that you can do to give us that. And changes are always gonna happen. Teachers, people are gonna leave. There's all things happen, right? But don't surprise the community out of nowhere that, like finding out in the middle of the year, or, before. Somebody knew something, so let's keep everybody on the same page. That's all I'm asking. That's all we want. It's hard. I know Title I, money, the social economics, all that stuff. But give us a little lead. Help us out. That's all we want. A little communication from a DO or from the board. Somebody. Don't just throw us something in the blind. All right. I would really appreciate that. All right. But hopefully we'll be here, a long time, and maybe we get to that point where it'd be really great to see the consistency that everybody wants. And I appreciate all the work you do. I mean, very few people want to do what you do, and we really do appreciate that you guys are trying. And I hear the equity wording a lot, so I really do appreciate that fact. But it'd be really nice to see what else we can get, where the disconnect is between us and here. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Tiffany Davis.
For those of you who do not know me, my name is Tiffany Davis, and I'm the current PTA president of Lomita Park. I have three children in our district, an 8th grader at Taylor, and a 5th and 3rd grader at Lomita. And this is our 3rd year in the district. In that time that we have been here, Dr. Janine has been our principal. I can't speak to anyone that has come before Dr. Janine, but I have heard that Lomita Park seems to have constant turnover with new principals every 2 to 3 years. With the constant change of leadership, it becomes a detriment to our students, staff, and families to always have that looming over us. One of the concerns that I personally have is based off of statistical data, we have seen improvement in both our ELA and mathematic indicators on the California dashboard. That's something we all look at and we want to see, everything go up, bad things go down, good things go up. We're seeing our numbers go in the correct directions. Excuse me. So it's troubling that our leadership is changing after such a short time, even though we already are seeing a beneficial impact to the school as a whole. While this decision was not one made by a majority of the Lomita Park community, we understand that there is no changing it. Going forward, I implore the district to allow community input for the next principal that will hopefully be able to stay for longer than 3 years. With all of that being said, I would like to just take a moment to let everyone here know that as the PTA president and a heavily involved volunteer, it is disappointing to have to say goodbye to Dr. Janine at the end of this school year. Her dedication to the students has not gone unnoticed, and it has been a pleasure to work alongside her for the past 2 years as my community role, and I wish her the best in her future endeavors. And thank you all for your time.
Okay. We cannot, as a board, respond directly to your comments, as this is not an agenda item. But we appreciate everyone's comments, and it's clear how much you all care. And your voices are important, and I know that we all up here are listening. I know that Superintendent Hickey is meeting with staff and with the community members this week to discuss the principal position and seeking community input. And that's all I can really say for now. All right, on to some more celebratory things. Next is the school spotlight, of which we would like to invite Dr. Malatesta to present her spotlight.
When I started, I was not wearing reading glasses, so I'm just getting used to this. Good evening to our board members, our superintendent, our cabinet members, our teachers, our wonderful donors, and our amazing family and students. So this evening's spotlight will feature targeted intervention supports, including tutoring and family parent engagement supports that reinforce learning at home. We've seen really wonderful, strong math thinkers at Lomita Park. The accelerated growth that you see here, it indicates that when a school performs 5 points above their expected growth target, which they did for 2025, 2026, that's when it is, you see this as being accelerated growth. And so thank you so much to our teachers who work extremely hard every day, and now you're seeing the results here. We also have a wonderful after-school tutoring program where, again, our teachers and our staff are working after school to serve this year it's 44 students, grades 1 through 5. 18% exited after 4 months. There's 37 total tutoring hours per week. 25 are dedicated to reading support. 12 are dedicated to math support. There you see Trustee Beltrami. She's not after school, but she's during the day tutor. And she's been looping with students for years now. So she's been working with the same students. And so the math data shows positive growth across grades, reflecting the impact of targeted instruction and tutoring. So again, thank you to the teachers and LP tutors. That's 9 teachers, 5 support staff, and our wonderful coordinator, Jen Hoskins. So this year we have Ignite High Impact Tutoring, which provides additional support to 30 students in grades 1 through 3. So this is a one-to-one schedule with, so online, 15 minutes a day, and it's in alignment with the classroom learning. And so again, the teachers, the 1st through 3rd grade teachers, we all met last week, I think. Seems like yesterday. And to talk about not just the academic portion, but also like what are the social emotional learning needs for each student. And so I really appreciated the teachers taking the time again to really consider each student and where they are and what they need for each level. It's extremely differentiated to push them farther, to bring them up and help keep them engaged. So when literacy skills are strengthened, that's when students are better able to access grade level math content because you have word problems, and it's extremely helpful. So this is a great new program that is supported by the Big Lift Grant. So strengthening math support. So with the school site council decided to add one more intervention para beginning last year. And so we've really strengthened, as you see in the results, are the small group math intervention. And there you see Ms. Aguirre, Ms. Stephanie, and Ms. Maya all working with the students, working very hard. And really, you know, they really love it. And so we really appreciate our classified staff. They work extremely hard. Ooh. So real world math. So I enjoy this going into Mrs. Oreo's room and seeing how she's making a visible object, just the measurement, real and concrete. And then also with, that's my mom, they're volunteering, Malatesta. She's counting, like helping them count authentic hands-on setting. And then at the end in the spring, the gardens looked amazing and the students planted everything. And there's real world problem solving through design and experimentation in our STEAM lab, thanks to our donors, the PCBA. So family partnership, that is just has been really key because one of the things that they asked for was like, why don't we have more math tutoring after school? And then we did, and now you can see the results. We met with the 5th grade families because we wanted to make sure that the transition was smooth. They asked for it, and that really improved the academic opportunities of our students. They really brought to us the concerns, and we tried to address them based on us telling us the needs. And that's been done at the principal coffee meetings, just really building those relationships so that we can work on all kinds of needs, math, social emotional learning. It's increased collaboration, building partnerships, strengthening student outcomes, and then here you see our wonderful little library, thanks to Carol Unger bringing that to us. So this year, our family engagement coordinator is Carolina Orlando, so who really does a lot of hard work identifying the root causes of absences, strengthening family communication and support, implementing attendance incentives, and providing research-based practices in attendance. I know she's always attending the webinars to just get more information. Additionally, on the team is Leslie Chin, our school counselor, to talk about social emotional learning, and Tamara Aklet, who is also on that team. So we are working together quite a bit this year, the 4 of us, to see how we can serve the students. And I learn a lot when I am able to meet with parents about the attendance. They just tell us their needs, and then we all work together as a team to try to address it. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. In fact, last year, well, I want to start 23-24, it was Tina Mondani and myself. And then 24-25, it was Desiree Rivas and Julie DeMaio as MTS coordinator and myself. And over the past 2 years, our chronic absenteeism declined almost 10.5%, 10.4%. So working together as a team. We also have brought in Parent University, again, with the money from the Big Lift. So families are meeting to discuss student growth, share thoughtful, impactful suggestions, and the parent impact, that's how we ended up with the topics, including math. And so the parents suggested and the counselors, that we talk about attendance, we talk about reading, math, as you see, behaviors, and navigating technology. And so we did all of those parent university meetings last year. This came from our families and our counselors. I think this is what our students need. So thank you, Millbrae Rotarians. So I don't know if you mind giving them a big round of applause, but thank you so much. We have 12 SMARTBoards donated from the Rotary, and we're expanding that interactive learning school-wide. And when I walk through, it's just amazing to see all the different ways teachers are using it and how excited the students are. So it increases their engagement and therefore their learning. There's, so I want to ask if Jeff can come back to maybe one day on a Wednesday to just kind of walk through and see if teachers can be provided extra support, because there's just so many ways that we appreciate his expertise here. And also, we had Reveal Math. It was adopted last year, and so that's really helping having curious, confident math learners, so the new curriculum. So again, hats off to the teachers who have taken on, again, another new curriculum and implementing it. So, also, I know this is not up here, but reading showed an 84.6% of our students improved from the prior year, increasing 9.8 points. So, You see how the extra learning time through after-school tutoring, learning together through the family partnership, personalized support through our intervention paras, math beyond the classroom with real-world math has really affected the students' learning, and you see that in the data, because the data is really just telling us how much are they learning, and are they enjoying their learning? Or is it relevant to them? Yeah, and this is a fun picture with our 4th grade students that I cut with jump rope. So we have a different color for each class so that they have their own equipment, and that's worked out really well this year. So there is an area of growth, so multilingual learner and science results also indicated the need for continued growth when you look at the California dashboard. So I collaborated with Jen Hoskins, Kathy Zavaleta to focus on the next steps. Teachers are now selecting one specific student talk strategy from, I provided some options, and then or come up with your own so that we can consistently implement it so that we can hear more students speaking. It just helps their learning, their vocabulary, the comprehension. And so, our teachers are committed to adding that in, although some of them already do it, but just more frequently. And also, it helps our multilingual learners quite a bit in all students. Also, something that teachers started working on is choosing one science unit per trimester so that they can vertically align the TK through 5 using shared vocabulary and like integrating our new requirement of climate change. And so it's going to be pretty amazing, I know, because we don't want to end up just looking at that 5th grade test score and being like, what's going on, 5th grade teachers? It needs to be all the way through, and the students love the science component. And so, but again, just providing those times for teachers, and they'll now have 1 day per trimester at least to be collaborating together where they have subs. Because we are asking a ton of our teachers, and I just feel that if we're asking a ton, then we need to provide the support or we need to take something off their plates. Super important. This just overall, the distributed leadership ensures shared ownership, leveraging the expertise of our teachers, our specialists, our administrators, our families, and community partners to support student growth. And I just want to say thank you for your partnership, collaboration, and shared commitment to our students, and it's been an honor to serve you. Okay, so let's celebrate Lomita Park together by singing the Lomita Park song. You want to lead it? So you repeat after them. And thank you to Courtney Madrano for creating this song for us.
We are Lomita Park Bears.
We are Lomita Park Bears.
We are kind.
We are kind.
We are safe.
We are safe.
We are respectful.
We are respectful.
We are responsible.
We are responsible.
We are Lomita Park Bears.
Okay. Any questions? Last time I sat down on accident, so.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, well, thank you for the great presentation and thank you for the data. And I always say there's no team there's no I in team. We are a team. With your leadership, you work with our PTA and our staff and our amazing parents and our district office. And with the implementation of the big lift and all the resources, you know, it's just, as a board member, we're just very happy to hear those numbers go up. And that's exactly what I want from Lomita Park. And so it's just, do you know that as a board, as a trustee, you know, we care about every school site. We care about every school has a different culture and different needs. And for us, Lomita Park is our baby. So we always wanting to know how we can, what we can do and help. And it's just, to me tonight, I'm just thrilled to hear that we are making improvements. So again, thank you parents, thank you for all you do. And again, thank you for all the kids that show up, knowing that the absenteeism and the tardiness is getting better. I mean, this is exactly what I want to hear. So again, thank you for your leadership and thank you for your hard work and our staff. So yeah, and you guys all need a shout out. And then of course, I'm gonna do Rotary. I mean, again, everything you do for the community, and we do appreciate it. The Millbrae School District cannot do what we do without your donations and your care with you and the PCBA when they did the STEAM lab and the Lions. And so again, there's no I in team. All of us as a Millbrae community are really striving and working hard to make it really, really a great environment for the kids at Lomita Park. So again, thank you for your leadership.
Well, thank you very much for the presentation. I always enjoy seeing all of the families and teachers and students from Lomita Park. It is my heart, my home, and it was really nice to hear all of the great growth and achievements that you've been making. I saw that you had the increased math score. I mean, that's really impressive that 72% went up in their math grades. I mean, that really speaks a lot more than just a base score, because that's showing improvement. So that means that you're on the right trajectory, and that's really impressive work. Also like to just say that I always enjoy all of my time at Lomita Park. It's really a great community. I love the students and the whole feeling of being in that school, in that environment. And I'm just so happy that you're able to come out in such strong force and just share all of the accomplishments that you've been making over the past few years. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much.
Great presentation, Principal Janine, and Lomita Park children. Lomita Park is really my heart as well, because I was there for a while. And every time I walk in there, I feel the warmth, and the teachers are working so hard, as you said. To see the gains that are coming up is amazing. I think using all of your resources to benefit all of the children, whether it be in math, reading. I'm really happy to hear about social emotional learning, because I do believe that there's more to an education. We need to serve the whole child. And so scores are wonderful, and I think that's great. And we always have to work to that level. But that social emotional learning is critical. And we want to build good community leaders. I was really happy to read about the don't be tardy and miss the party. That's the new bus line, I guess, in Miss Orlando's. So there's a pizza party for
Dance.
A dance party, even better. Wow. So just seeing all the growth and seeing everybody so happy. Thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Malatesta, for your presentation. Thank you, parents. Thank you, staff, for all being here, and thank you, kids. It was a great testament to how much you really care about the school, and I've always thought that the Lomita Park community was especially, you know, just so much more, there's so much care within that Lomita Park community. And it's really wonderful to see all of the gains that have been made. I know that you guys have been working hard to see all that improvement in math and in reading, to see some of those resources actually come to light is wonderful. I love the fact that there is this after-school tutoring. I think I just sent Ms. Wasliff and Superintendent an article the other day of how much tutoring has been really helping students in San Francisco, and it's great to see that we're having similar types of gains here. I think also just seeing this community support is what makes Lomita Park really special. And I'm really just excited to see more growth in the future. I think there's such a great framework and foundation now of really engaging the community and working as a team, as Trustee Musa said. And we really hope to provide that stability that Lomita Park students deserve. Well, next,
Great song, everybody. The Lomita Park song. I remember a couple of old songs. I know Mrs. Hoskins was part of a song that was done a few years ago, and it went on and on and on. This is much easier to remember. So,
Somebody else, right, Ms. Hoskins?
all right, well, next up is our Smart Board donation and the recognition. So you may want to stay up there.
Hey, good evening, everyone. First of all, I'm Lisa Hickey, I'm the superintendent, and this evening we have the distinct pleasure of recognizing a partnership that truly embodies the spirit of Millbrae, a partnership rooted in a shared vision of our students' future. We are here to celebrate the Millbrae Rotary Club for their incredible donation of just over $50,000 to bring interactive smartboards into every TK through 5th grade classroom at Lomita Park. This journey began over a year ago when former principal and Rotary member Carrie Chin approached myself and the district office team with a bold vision. She wanted to make a donation that would leave a lasting transformative impact on Lomita Park. For too long, our students at Lomita were working with basic projectors that were difficult to see. In fact, as superintendent, one of the things I noticed when I walked into Lomita Park, and especially because it is unfortunately a school without windows, was how difficult it was for our students to see the projectors. But thanks to this gift, those days are over. So I want to extend a very special thank you to Rotary member Shirley Kwok. Shirley, can you give a little wave? Shirley, without your extraordinary generosity, this project simply would not have been possible, and you have changed the daily learning environment for hundreds of children. I also want to recognize our staff working behind the scenes. While most of us were enjoying the winter break, our technology department and our maintenance and operations team were working, getting those smart boards prepared. And so because of that extra effort, when we walked in back on January 5th, teachers, would you say you had a nice little surprise in your room? Because the smart boards were installed and ready for the first day of the 2026 calendar school year. And we were also thrilled to have Rotary members join us on January 5th because it was a teacher workday and it was a perfect opportunity to start with training and get the SMARTBoards in use right away. Seeing our educators and community leaders together in the classroom set the perfect tone for the new year. And I can tell you firsthand that this technology works. I recently had the opportunity to sub in a third grade classroom at Lomita Park, and I decided I was going to try out the SMARTBoard myself. I did have to call Mr. Horn on the phone once, maybe twice. That's my tactic. I call, and then once I call, I say, oh, okay, I figured it out, which actually kind of did happen. But I was most surprised by the engagement of the students, and I know that all of the teachers are just kind of scratching the surface of what this SMARTBoard can do. And our site tech lead, Rebecca Schlimmer, put it perfectly. She shared, this is her quote, traditional teaching methods do not always reach our diverse population of learners. These boards allow for interactive lessons, multimedia integration, and real-time feedback, capturing students' attention and making learning an exciting, tangible experience. So while the Rotary is our focus tonight, it was a true village effort. So we want to thank the Millbrae Community Foundation for partnering with the Rotary to facilitate these donations. And in addition to the first donation of getting the SMARTBoards in the classrooms, we actually had a little bit of more individual donations. So we have 2 individual Rotary members donating some extra funds, and that will allow us to have an additional SMARTBoard in the library. And one of the things we've noticed, and Dr. Janine talked about our parent intervention specialists, and you see them in the library all the time doing small groups. So to be able to have a SMARTBoard in the library is going to be perfect for small groups. And the other thing is then you don't have to wheel it in, and I think it's perfect for staff meetings so that colleagues can just show each other little tips that you see. Also, PCBA, they just notified me last week that they raised $2,000 to contribute towards that. So we are ordering, it's on tonight's agenda under consent, we're going to order 4 more. So 1 for the library, 2 smaller ones for our reading specialist, and 1 for our resource specialist. So the whole school will be fully equipped. Yay! So I am going to give Dr. Janine, and then I'm going to call you up in just a minute. So Dr. Janine, do you want to say a couple words?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Jen Hoskins, who came in a little bit late. She's one of our reading specialists, drives after-school tutoring. She also was the one who said that, hey, can the reading teachers have SMARTBoards too? And I was like, oh, great idea. Yes. Just to see the joy in the students' faces when they are able to interact and have, it just feels so fun to them and so relevant. It's going to make a huge difference. When children are engaged, they're much more excited to learn. Social and emotionally, they feel, you can just see it in their faces that they're feeling happy. And so all of these elements are really going to help. I've already started to help our students at Lomita Park, and I just want to say thank you. It's making a huge difference.
And we also have a student who's going to just share a little bit. So Everett, do you want to come on up?
Hello, my name is Eva Davis. I'm a 5th grader at Lomita Park. I wanted to say thank you to the Rotary Club for the SMARTBoards that were donated. We use it in class every day, and they are much faster than what we had before. I like writing on it when we use it in a lesson. Thank you.
So thank you, Everett. And I know that all of our students are very thankful. So you can see it in evidence with some cute little posters and some cards that the students made. So as the principal of Lomita Park, Dr. Janine noted, these boards give our Title I students equitable opportunities to access the curriculum and transform their classrooms into innovative spaces where they can truly build confidence as learners. And so, to the Millbrae Rotary Club, thank you for believing in our students, for investing in our teachers, and for ensuring that every child at Lomita Park has the tools they need to succeed in 2026 and beyond. So I know that the president, Janet Fogarty, wants to come up, but I'd also like to personally, I know the, thank you for all the Rotarians, but I'd like Shirley Kwok to come up as well. You can sit. We'd like to present.
So I have here a check, another one, from the Millbrae Community Foundation because we had a grant request for a 13th smart board from your principal. And thanks to the generosity of Rotarians who contributed to the designated fund for this project at the Millbrae Community Foundation, we have a check here that will complete the payments for smart boards for the library as well as the classroom. I would just like to say that this community is a really special community, and Lomita Park is like the microcosm of the bigger Millbrae community. And we are delighted that we could partner with your school district, with your school administrator, and with your principal to make this happen so that your kids are catapulted into this community of not just of Millbrae, but of the whole peninsula, which is kind of like the tech capital of the world, right? And so your kids are going to be charging into really a great future that we can see just from the kids who are here tonight. They're going to be great. They're going to be really creating good things for this world, and we're going to be very happy that we had a part in that. So thank you very much.
They're going to do comments, and then we're going to take a break, and we'll have photo opportunity. Okay.
All right. I'll start on this end this time for comments.
Well, Millbrae Rotary, you are amazing. The support that you've given to our students from the get-go has been just outstanding. It really does take a village, and I'm glad that you're part of our village and you're supporting our students that might not have those opportunities that maybe some of the other students do. And I know Carrie, having been at Lomita Park for a number of years, and Trustee Beltrami and myself, we know the challenges, and we know how much we care about having our students be prepared. And these smart boards are going to take them to the next 20th century, 21st century, I don't know, the centuries are going. But anyway, getting us to that next level. And I want to commend the staff for taking a chance and learning something new. You have so many new initiatives that you have to work on. And now we bring in a smart board, and it's just going to add so much to your already rich curriculum. So Millbrae Rotary, you are amazing, and I have to put a plug in for the Millbrae Community Foundation as well. because we stand very, very close to our partners in Millbrae. And although we're a little foundation, every little bit helps. So thank you so much.
So really want to thank the Rotary Club for their thoughtfulness and providing these smart boards to Lomita Park. I challenge you all to come and visit the classrooms and see the amazing work that's being done by that outstanding staff who have taken on these devices and incorporated them in day one. So they're being implemented, and the children, you could see their smiles. It's just echoing all of the thoughtfulness that you've provided to them. They're so enthusiastic and happy to have those in their classrooms. It's almost like a little spark has happened, and they're all very engaged in this new way of learning, and it's just been wonderful. So thank you so much, Rotary. I'm glad I'm a part of your community. It's an honor to be called a Rotarian, and I just really appreciate everything that we've done in our work. So thank you so much.
Okay. As I said earlier, we are so lucky here in Millbrae to have the Rotary, the Lions, the PCBA, but the Rotary, we're just, that's what Millbrae is all about. All of our community, putting our efforts together to make a Millbrae a better place for our students to learn and thrive and prepare them for the next steps in life, middle school and high school. So again, we're very lucky to have you and partner with you always. And, you know, your heart is right where, you know, all of our hearts are, where the hearts of Millbrae School District and Millbrae students. So again, thank you is never enough, but thank you for all you do.
All right. Well, I love what Dr. Malatesta said about creating joy for the kids. I mean, that's clearly evident, and joy is the best part of learning, right? It makes learning fun and it engages all the students, and I'm just so thrilled to hear what type of impact it's having in the classroom, that the staff are happy, the kids are happy, and that everybody's just happy learning. And we are just truly grateful for the donation from Rotary, especially from some very generous donors, Shirley, Carrie, and the support we've also seen from the MCF and PCBA. I mean, it just is what strong community support looks like. Everybody getting together really with the one goal of providing our kids with the tools and the equipment to succeed. So just really, really lovely. Just cannot thank the Rotary enough for their incredible generosity and support, and just appreciative of this beautiful community that we live in that always comes together to support our kids.
Yeah, we are going to recess to a break, but we have fun things in the break, including cookies and photo ops. So I think it would be great if we could get the Rotary and the Lomita Park community together to take a group picture, and then we will hand out cookies and then take a break and then resume our meeting. no, we talked about, I could. Well, I just wanted to highlight our 100th day of school celebrations. So the 100th day of school was last Tuesday, and I think it's just a nice milestone because it's more than halfway, right? So 180 days, 90 days is halfway. But there's so many different activities that you can do for 100, and all 4 elementary schools did some celebrations. So I think Spring Valley is here with the parade, and we have Lomita Park here, Green Hills, Meadows, and of course, it's kind of like, I don't know, this is a newer trend because it was not around when I was a principal where you dressed up to be 100 years old. And so it's, to me, this is the most fun part, is seeing students dress up to look like they're 100 years old. Yes, the adults don't have as much fun doing it, but the 5-year-olds, it's all about, they're all about it. And then just MEF Readathon, I have been kind of sending out messages for MEF Readathon because they're a little behind where they are, but I also told them that I remember in the last 2 years, it was kind of a similar pattern, and, things kind of come at the end of sometimes we even extend the readathon. It is supposed to end on February 6th, but we're just kind of pushing the MEF readathon. And that's all I'm going to do tonight because I feel like we already did a lot with Rotary. So I just have two slides this evening.
All right, excellent. Are there any other comments by trustees that they want to make? I know we had that quick thing. Any comments to the superintendent?
So I just wanted to share that I was able to attend the community forum on bike policies and safety that was hosted by Diane Pappen on Saturday. And it gave a lot of information that I was not aware about the e-bikes and how they're impacting our youth of today, and how our students can be riding these bikes that can go very, very fast and have no idea of the rules of the road. They don't have permits or driver's license, but yet they're driving something that can go up to 28 miles an hour or even higher because they have a component that they can take off and make them go faster. So through her leadership at the state level, they're trying to bring together coherent laws so that it's not just from each of the cities or districts, it's going to be something statewide. And so she's introduced a bill, AB 1557, that's going to clarify what an e-bike is, and that it's a bicycle with operational pedals, and that a motor cannot exceed 550 watts at peak motor power, and that it closes a legal loophole that has allowed manufacturers to build and distribute high-power e-bikes. And what they're asking through this forum is that we join them with educating our students, our parents, and staff so that we can keep our students safe with the e-bikes that are showing up now on our roads. Anyway, just wanted to share that fact. The principal from, the vice principal at Taylor was also there, Bill, and he said that there are some concerns that are happening at Taylor in regards to the e-bikes. So it's something that we need to keep aware of and watch the progress of this bill and making sure that we're really giving education to our families so that our students are safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. I appreciate those comments on e-bikes. I've definitely seen how some of the kids ride them through town, and it's been quite dangerous at the very least. And I know that some kids have definitely gotten into bike accidents in the last couple of years, some at Mills, one on my neighborhood. All right, next is presentations. Number 1, KNN Public Finance, General Obligation Bond Financing and Refunding. And I'm going to pass that to CBO Mary.
Thank you, President Chen. We have Blake Boehm from KNN Public Finance. He's here to present the information on the GO bond financing and refunding. Welcome.
Through the mic. Well, good evening. It's great to be back. I even got a chocolate chip cookie, so that is a pleasure. doesn't always happen. Yeah, I have a short presentation tonight. This is an exciting time following the voters' approval of Measure J, working closely with district leadership, the administrative leadership. We have 2 items on the agenda for tonight. One is the first bond issuance for the Measure J general obligation bond authorization. And secondly is a refunding resolution to lower the interest cost of some of the outstanding debt for the older measures. So I have, again, a few slides just to kind of touch on some of the highlights, answer any questions that the board may have. First and foremost, just starting with a brief overview of the district's voter-approved bond measures going back to the 2008 Measure X. Both the 2008 and 2011 bond measures have been fully exhausted, meaning that those dollars that were approved by voters at their respective times have all gone into capital facility improvements over the last nearly 2 decades. Measure J, being the most recent approved measure in November of 2024, where voters at over 63% authorized bonds to be sold for future capital facility improvements up to $95 million. We'll talk about how, as it sits right now, we're anticipating that $95 million to be drawn down over time as the projects are phased within the district. The colorful boxes here at the bottom represent each of the original bonds that were sold from the 2 older measures, Measure X and Measure N. And then Millbrae School District has always been so diligent about refinancing opportunities to lower the interest cost. So you could see those bottom boxes represent each time the district has in the past refinanced some of the original debt, again, to lower interest costs. Focusing really on Measure J on this next slide, just as a reminder, voters approved that $95 million under Measure J with a maximum tax rate of $30 per 100,000 of assessed value. And so it's going to be critically important for us as we're drawing down the $95 million to make sure that we're structuring the debt conservatively so that tax rate is maintained for the entire life of repayment. And that's the way it's been designed through our collective work, again, with district leadership. So Series A is what is highlighted on the agenda for tonight. The par amount is structured to be $30 million. So the first $30 million of the 95 that was approved. And then the anticipated remaining drawdown schedule currently sits roughly about 2 to 3 years. There'll be a second series and then a third series. So all of these monies are anticipated to be drawn down by 2030, 2031. Each bond issuance is going to be structured for a maximum of a 30-year repayment term, which is very common and traditional for California school district GO bond measures. For Millbrae, the entire Measure J program is designed fairly conservatively, meaning that the district's assessed valuation has actually far outpaced what we've projected it to grow by. And so if that trend continues, what that would provide for is an opportunity to shorten down the repayment of the second and third series of bonds. So the overall repayment term should align with the Series A. And that's kind of what's reflected in the bar chart to the right of this slide. While the first series is 30 years, we're expecting the second series to only be 28 years and the final series to only be 20. So they'd all share a final repayment once those bonds are finally paid. Estimated to be 25, so 30 years out from. More specifically, the way that we're structuring the Series A bonds, while there are no other Measure J debt outstanding, we're able to utilize the full tax revenues that the county will be collecting, dedicated solely for the purposes of Measure J. and that provides for large amounts of principal repayment in the first few years, maximizing up to that $30 tax rate. And then you'll see after the first 3 years, we drop that rate down, leaving plenty of capacity to layer on the Series B debt service. Then the Series B debt service will be layered on, and it will continue at $30 and then drop down and leave capacity for that third and final series. So maintaining that $30 tax rate commitment is for us. There at the bottom left, you can see some of the assumptions. These are current interest bonds, meaning that they're paying principal and interest each year. Again, very traditional financing tool, the most common for California school district GO bonds. We assume a 4% annual AB growth, and again, that's kind of where I mentioned that's a bit conservative by design. Over the last 5 years, the district has grown on average by 6% per year. Over the last 20 years, it's been about 5% per year. So we knew that we would be under the mark from a conservative standpoint, but that's going to provide more flexibility and a lower overall cost of borrowing for long run. And then finally, I'll just mention our current estimates for the interest cost of the Series A bonds is about 4.45%. That's what's reflected in the district's. I had mentioned a second item that's on the agenda, which is focused on refunding some of the outstanding bonds associated with both the 2011 Measure N authorization. The 2 series of bonds that were sold from Measure N were refinanced previously, but only portions thereof. Back in 2019 and 2020, K&N assisted the district with a refinancing effort, but just focused on the most economically advantageous refunding candidates at that time. So we left some off of the table. Those bonds that were left off of the table are now producing some additional savings to be realized. In addition, there is an outstanding series of bonds that ties back to the 2008 Measure X authorization. Bonds that were refinanced once already in 2016 and are going to be able to be refinanced for the last and final time in 2026. So the combination of all of these outstanding bonds that are eligible to be refinanced sits at around just under $8 million of debt. We're currently anticipating to refinance all or some portion thereof. What we're going to do all the way up until we actually access the market and lock in rates is we'll continuously monitor what the economic benefit could be realized for property taxpayers, and we're going to try and secure savings. The current amount of savings is from about $200 to $200 over the remaining life. And the way that that's happening is the existing bonds are sitting at a 5% interest rate. We would be refinancing them at a 2% interest rate. That reduction of rate is what's generating that savings. So it's not a huge amount of bonds because the district has already taken so many bites at the apple of refunding previously, but it's still impactful enough that we're presenting it on the agenda tonight to considered simultaneously with the Measure J bonds. And then lastly, just to wrap up my presentation, is just to look at the timeline. Following this evening's board meeting, should we forward, the plan would be to meet with the rating agency. Really, we're meeting with a single rating agency for the sale based on size, Moody's Investor Services. That's scheduled for this Thursday. The district leadership team has done a phenomenal job in helping to gather information, which really tells the district's story at its current moment in time, both in terms of finances, what's going on in the local economy and development. All of that information is passed on to the rating agencies. They assign a rating. The district currently sits at a AA1, which is one notch lower than the highest coveted AAA rating, which is largely reserved for California schools that are community funded or basic aid. I know Millbrae Elementary School District is kind of, going in and out of that designation. And I do think that once the district falls fully into community funded, I do think that there's going to be a strong argument to urge rating agencies upgrade to that AAA rating. But in the meantime, a AA1 has certainly helped this school district have a strong reception from investors, secure the lowest cost of borrowing each time we've gone to market in year. The plan would be to lock in rates or price the bonds at the beginning of March, and the transaction would officially close. That the Measure J funds would be deposited into the district's building fund at the beginning of April. Same time, for the refunding, proceeds would be deposited into a redemption fund. The old bonds would be paid off, leaving lower debt service cost of the refunded bonds in place for the county to collect taxes on. So that's a little bit about the process, timeline. Happy to answer any questions or any.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, I mean, I had a quick question. I see the refunding has a net present value savings of about 210 or 158, or is it combined of 358 on page 4?
Yeah, I know that's a great question. I probably should have clarified that. So the two columns are reflective of two scenarios of a refunding outcome. The far left of which is if we refund all of the callable maturities or all of the bonds that can be refinanced, it produces slightly more savings. However, it does include, based on current market rates, some inefficient refunding candidates that we're excluding in the column to the right. The column to the right is a little bit of a smaller refunding overall, but more efficient in terms of the savings that could be realized based on the amount that's refunded.
Okay, and what is being recommended for tonight for us to vote on?
The resolution would provide the board with direction to staff and the bond team to refinance all of the callable candidates. We will be evaluating the efficiency and impact that they would have as we lead the market. The market changes, rates change day to day, and so we don't know at a single point in time until we actually go to market what's going to be advantageous for taxpayers. So we're requesting the board authorize us to look at the entire universe of bonds that can be refinanced and direct staff to work with KNN and the rest of the bond team, select those that are going to be most impactful and increase the present value savings to be something in excess of the minimum.
Got it. So the total possible savings would be 210 based on these assumptions, of which if you're using the 3% savings target, right now that would look like the real amount would be about 158,000 of savings.
That's right. Yeah, of present value savings.
Of present value. And what does that translate to on an annualized basis and for how many years?
The final repayment for these refunding candidates goes out to 2032. The nominal amount of just about $200,000 spread out over the entire community is not a lot of money per household per year. It's really a continuous fiscal stewardship, lens that this board has always had in terms of if there's an opportunity to lower interest rates from 5% to 2.2%, even though it's not a lot of bonds and it's not for a much longer period, we're going to do it. I don't think the refunding would happen if the Measure J bonds were not being sold, because that's really the driver. It's too small of a single transaction to kind of stand on its own two legs. But because of the Measure J process, it does make sense through certain economies of scale to have this smaller refunding component, try to squeak out as much savings as we possibly can.
Okay, totally appreciate that. And how are we able to get 2.2 something in this environment?
Well, no, that's a great question
I'm like,
too.
where do we get that?
Remember, we're only the new bonds are only borrowing out to 2032. So we're talking about a 7-year borrowing term versus a 30-year borrowing term for the new Measure J sale, right? So that stark difference between the length of time in which you're borrowing allows you to
Got it. All right, note to self. Anybody else?
Yeah, quick. Well, I know the savings not that much, but I mean, I'm sure an average person that looks at their tax bill, they're just looking at the overall number. But I mean, it's so significant, but how do the community would know that we're refinancing? And just not because if it's a huge number, it's because they need to know that we're doing the best that we can to save them money. You know what I mean? So how would the community know that we're doing that?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different options. There's an opportunity to have either myself come back and provide a short presentation similar to this with the final numbers, and that could be, viewed by the community and public. There also is an opportunity to put a short press release in the local paper that highlights not only the refunding, but also the initial Measure J sale, which is going to have an influx of capital for some prioritized projects in the district. I would hope that the community is very excited about that. So that might be another way to go about it. But I can also work with on some other ideas.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, another quick question. The tentative issuance schedule. I know we're getting some money out. Is it this month? Or do we have a date set, or this is just right now? We're just approving it tonight. We don't know when we're gonna, and then is it $30 million that we're taking, or is it that this is just tentative? So by the time we're ready to remodel Lomita Park, we need the big chunk of money. So just a
Yeah, so if the board approves it tonight, the rates would be locked in early March, and the money would be available in very beginning of April for projects. That's where you can start spending at will. The money is there, and it's going to be just under 30 million. What's actually deposited is the issuance is for 30 million. There's a net amount. It deducts out the financing costs associated with the issuance itself for the rating agencies, the advisory work that we do, rating agencies, if I didn't say that already. And so the net deposit is going to be something like 29.7+ million dollars.
Got it. Okay.
That's going to be available for.
And I'll just make a comment that CBO Paulette and I had a discussion also with TBK and Blake last week. We had, thought about maybe taking out a little bit more. However, when we look at the architect timeline and just not knowing DSA approval, we felt that we would start with a smaller issuance because you have to spend 85% in the first 3 years. And as we get closer, a year and a half or 2 years, we'll have a better sense of when we are going to start to break ground. And then that's why if you looked at Blake's presentation, we're kind of looking at 2 years for another issuance because we know once we actually start construction that we're going to need more funds.
So most likely the second time we issue that we can take more than 35 based on
Yes,
what is needed
that's
for the Lomita.
fluid, right?
Is that fluid?
Yeah, the timing and the amount are very much fluid. I think that this measure, I tried emphasizing it earlier on, is built with a lot of conservatism. So the upside of what that provides the district is flexibility and accessibility of how much needs to be drawn and when. You could go back next year, make another draw if the construction team all on it and make huge progress, that is an option. But right now, as we're currently tentatively targeting 2 years from this issuance.
Sorry, one more question. Is there any benefit to doing like a bigger amount upfront? What are the benefits, or how do we think about, doing more upfront versus less upfront and staging it in? I mean, we have to kind of make a prediction on where rates will move, the cost of the issuance and those types of things. How should we be thinking about that?
Yeah, I think, Superintendent Hickey just mentioned, when you issue tax exempt bonds as a public agency, there is an IRS spend down requirement. Usually what we see when a program has not been fully active for a period of time, there is a ramp up period for the construction team to really get things going and money start coming out of the bank into the hands of the contractors. So it's not uncommon, I would say, to see somewhat of a smaller draw at first, followed by, when you're in mid-swing of the program, to have a larger sale. All else being neutral from a cost perspective, issuing more and shrinking down the number of bonds sold is beneficial, right? Because each bond series has its own cost of issuance associated. You just don't want to be sitting on tax-exempt dollars that taxpayers are paying interest on, and the bonds are not taxable from a federal perspective. So IRS does not like that. That's where the spend down requirement comes into play.
All right, anybody else? Thank you so much. All right, next up is the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Can I get a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up is district business 14.1. It's a long title. Mary, I'm going to let you, CBO Paulette, I'm going to let you read it and lead that discussion.
I am going to summarize that because the presentation just gone over very clearly already, so thank you, Blake. So the 14.1 is asking for your authorization or approval, the resolution to refinance up to, actually I should use the word refunding, excuse me, up to 10 million, as Blake explained, is up to the market. Right now, we don't have 10 million to be refunded, but the market can go up and down, and if the time is right, KNN will and RBC will help us refund whatever the amount that makes sense, that help the saving to the taxpayers. So we're asking for your authorization on 14.1.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All right, can we get a second? All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, next is 14.2 with an even longer title. And I'm going to pass
Yes,
that
but
on.
it's very similar. In 14.2, we asked the board for your approval to authorize up to $30 million bond sales. And as Blake explained, because of this bond sales, the refunding on 14.1 happens. And because of the 30 million bonds going to be sold with the 14.1, we asking for your authorization so that KNN and RBC can support the district to get the bond sold, and hopefully we can get all the authorized project that you allow us to move forward to, we need money to pay. Architect too, yes. So it's recommended that the board approve 14.2. Thank you.
Excellent. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
A second? All right. Any questions or comments?
Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's hard to, well, to you guys, it's probably easy, like. Not for us. It's, yeah, I mean, it's for the average person to see these numbers, it's kind of, you know, but anyway. Yeah, anyway.
Excellent. All right. Well, we can take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Next up, yeah. Can't wait to see that money start flowing in. All right. Next up is 14.3, the MOU for crossing guard partial cost reimbursement. And I'm going to pass that to CBO Mary Paulette as well.
Yes, this is the MOU with the city of Millbrae. For their kindness, they're willing to support Millbrae Elementary School District to receive reimbursement up to $50,000 for the school year 25-26. As you know, half of a school year, 100 days already passed, and we finally get the MOU together. So we propose to get 3 invoices. So the November passed, so we will, after your acceptance, then we will send the invoice to them proving that we have the services paid. And then we will send them 2 more invoices for the second semester in a total of $50,000. And moving forward, hopefully, according to the MOU, they will continue to support us, quote unquote, as long as their funds is available.
Can we get a motion to approve? Can I get a second? All right. Do we have any questions or comments?
I just wanted to comment that our crossing guards are wonderful. I pick up at Meadows, and she's always there on top of everything. And so I just want to commend our crossing guards. They're an excellent group of people who really help keep our kids safe. So thank you to our crossing guards, and thank you to the city for working with us in this partnership so that our students are staying safe going and coming from school.
Yeah, just a shout out to the city, and you know, this is huge. I mean, it's $50,000, but it's money that we can put into somewhere else that's more needed in the classroom. So maybe some more SMARTBoards. Anyway.
Yeah, I just want to echo the special partnership we have with the city, and really appreciative of their work that we do together, that we can do to uplift our community and keep our kids safe. So really appreciative. All right. So we already have a motion. Do we vote yet? Okay. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up is 14.4, approval of the 24-25 school accountability report cards. And I will pass this to our Director of Ed Services, Catherine Wassleff.
Actually, I'll just go ahead and introduce, but Ms. Wassleff is here if you have any questions. But the SARCs, as we have our acronyms, School Accountability Report Cards, you will see that there is one listed for every school. This is an annual update, and the principals as well as Director Wassleff did a great job in terms of reviewing them, and they are already posted to the CDE website, and that was something we needed to do by February 1st, is that correct? So now it's just awaiting board approval.
Excellent. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Can I get a second? And, okay, great. Any questions or comments?
I'll comment, very good work. They look really well done and very informative. So I'm hoping that all of our families will review their school's report card so that they can see all the information that is entailed in that, because they're very comprehensive. I mean, they have facilities, they have test data, they have demographics. I mean, they're really informative. So I really appreciate all the work that you did to get these done, and I hope everybody does get a chance to review them.
Yeah, ditto. I know the work that's involved in something like this, and I appreciate the consistency in the template so that all the schools are following one template, easy to read, and good on you getting to a deadline of February 1st. Yes, oh, day before yesterday. So, thank you.
All right, excellent work. We have a motion, so can I get a vote? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next up is board governance, the review of the CSBA policy updates. And can I pass that on to you, Superintendent?
Yes. So CSBA generally gives boards some guidance in terms of certain policies that should be updated. And so what I am presenting to you is a policy that's a revised policy for response to immigration enforcement. And they have suggested that we pass this before March 1st. And so what we typically do for board policies is we put them on for you to review for this meeting, and then they will be brought back on consent for the next meeting, February 17th.
All right, this is not an action item, but it's for discussion. Does anybody have any thoughts or comments?
So how are we reviewing? Is there a slash on things that need to be changed? Because I haven't looked through all of them yet. But so it'll be what color? Got it. Thank you.
So
That's what I was
yeah,
wondering, because there was one that was completely slashed.
Yeah, exactly. So can you, I was having a hard time comparing because I don't know which one is replacing which. So if there's a way that, because the last one, it refers to which one it's replacing, but I can't figure out the first one. So if you just kind of put the two that are, the old one and the new one, or, or can be highlighted in yellow, just because I was having a hard time going back and forth. So.
Are we able to comment, because there are 4 attachments of which ones? Okay, so both 1445 are the brand new ones,
Yeah,
and
so
the
445 is
both
replacing.
5145.13 is what they are suggesting completely deleting. And so often it's an update, but the CSBA is suggesting to just completely drop 5145 and replace it with 1445. So both 1445 are the brand new ones, and the 5145 are the ones that we're suggesting going away.
So it was kind of, yeah. Yeah, no, but they went from like 5 pages to paragraphs. Is that, it was kind of, I wasn't
think
sure
it
if
went
that
the
was
opposite.
accurate or not.
I think it went from like 1 page to like 4 pages.
Or
I actually
something.
think it was opposite.
The
So I think because of what is happening in our country, CSBA decided to bulk that policy up. So it went from 1 page, that's the one that's being deleted, and
Okay.
now it's buffed up to, bulked up to 4 pages.
Okay.
Yes, to just include more detail. I think, this is something that we are all navigating, and we lean on CSBA to help us with policies and help us think through just different areas that may come up. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with in Millbrae, but so I think that's why. I think they started with a short policy that actually was not that long ago, and they came out with a revised one that is considerably longer and more comprehensive.
Well, I certainly appreciate this more detailed information about the policy. It'd be great, I know we've already taken some steps at our schools to have a summary kind of sheet for our administrators and our teachers and staff to know what to do, basically kind of outlining some of their policies and these rights. It would be great also to kind of provide that to our general community in maybe Parent Square too, just knowing what their rights are, because you never know when they're gonna be coming around. And the more people see it, maybe the more it'll sink in, and they'll know that they've seen this before in the past and know where to go, because when they come, you probably aren't gonna pull out the board policy. That's just my thoughts. So thank you for updating these. Anybody else? All right. Next is possible future agenda items.
I have one. I don't know, I don't recall if we met, we usually meet, we have a meeting, joint meeting with the council, PTO, and the MEF. I don't recall us meeting in the beginning of the school year, but.
We are going to work on scheduling that sometime in the spring.
Yeah, because,
It'll have
yeah,
to be a special board meeting, but yes, we
Yeah.
do plan on scheduling that.
okay.
And February 17th, you will look forward to a very wonderful presentation from Director Wasliff for the LCAP mid-year review. She told me she was going to share it with me, and I said, please wait till tomorrow. I'd like to be one board meeting at a time. So she agreed to not share the slides until tomorrow.
Excellent. And then I guess, I know we had talked about AI, and I do feel like it's breathing down our neck in a way that's changing things so quickly. Would love to have an update on what our thoughts are and how we think about AI and how we talk about it as a school district and as a board. I'm not sure exactly how that would land on a future agenda item, but I know we talked about it in the past and had a conversation. How do we sort of keep that conversation going
I
to
might
move to something?
suggest we kind of start smaller with this subcommittee. One of the things that staff as well that needs to work on is implementing a cell phone policy. That's by July 1st. So we are kind of working on sending out a survey, and then once we send out the survey, we're going to have just a group of us get together, and I think that we can put AI on as a topic, kind of discuss it, and come up with a plan for next steps. I was just at the superintendent's conference last week, and there's definitely a lot of districts that are already, creating policies for AI. We aren't quite there yet, but yes, you're right. Because we aren't there, we're probably behind on that, but we are working on a cell phone policy, and I think that a similar group would be a good group to start talking about AI and our policies surrounding that. So the cell phone policy will cover the smart watches because that's part of, we kind of look at student devices and how we bring them on campus. We don't actually anticipate our policy to change very much. I think the high schools have much bigger conversations because, I know that when my children were in high school, they would text me any time of the day, and so there was quite a big difference in terms of usage. I would say that right now our policies at all schools are, we know some students may have them, but we do expect them to not be out during the school day at all. Taylor is actually doing a very good job with, some of the schools have yonder pouches, which are these very expensive pouches that you lock. The teacher has to unlock it. I personally am not a fan of those because I think, well, one, I think that students need to have self-control, right? And so this idea that we're locking things and having the teacher having to unlock it, I don't think that's the message we want to send. Students get around anything, and so typically they get around yonder pouches by bringing an old phone to lock up, and then they keep their current phone on them. So what Taylor does a really good job with that they started last year was they actually have a pencil pouch, and it's the first period teachers take a look, they make sure they're in the pouch, they keep it in their backpack. It's really just kind of a psychological extra layer of, hey, if I have to go into it, not only do I have to go into my backpack, but I also have to go and open that pencil pouch. And I would say it's not a perfect system, but Taylor feels like it's working pretty well. And so really the policy is about taking what we're doing in practice and just putting it in writing. they do get some smart watches for gifts. Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is part of the, middle school is part of it, but then the elementary. And so once we have a policy together, then part of having that policy is then being consistent. So yes, we'll be having those discussions this spring.
All right, excellent. If there's nothing else, then this meeting is adjourned.